Just hours before the U.S. scrapping of Title 42, that's a COVID-era policy at its southern border with Mexico, American officials are bracing for an influx of migrants. And the U.S. president has warned the situation in the region will be, quote, chaotic for a while.
Starting at midnight, people who arrive at our southern border will be subject to our immigration enforcement authorities under Title 8 of the United States Code.
Under the return to Title 8, the U.S. Homeland Security Secretary says there will be tougher consequences, like a 5-year ban from the U.S. for those caught entering illegally. The outgoing pandemic rules made it easier to turn away migrants at the border to slow the spread of COVID.
I want to be very clear. Our borders are not open.
Without Title 42, migrants will either be removed from the country, detained, or released into the U.S., while their cases make their way through immigration court.
Behind us we have migrants who are asylum seekers.
Pedro Rio, a volunteer aid worker and migrant rights supporter, says many of those gathered here have been waiting at the border for 6 or 7 days.
And they are in squalid conditions, don't have access to food or to water, and they're risking everything to come to the United States.
The U.S. has been deploying hundreds of troops at the southern border this week, with more expected to come. There is confusion on both sides of the border, including here in Brownsville, Texas, where migrants who had been released from federal immigration custody lined up for food from local charities. We all have fear, this man says, a migrant from Venezuela. We are here and we do not know what will happen. The crisis at the border has led to partisan finger-pointing. Late Wednesday, a bus carrying 44 migrants pulled into New York City's Port Authority. The city's mayor, Eric Adams, who's facing local controversy over where to house the newcomers, has accused the Republican governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, of playing politics with people's lives by sending migrants north to Democratic-run cities like the Big Apple. Similar arrivals in Washington, D.C. This one saw migrants dropped off in front of Vice President Kamala Harris's home. The Biden administration's response?
It is a both sad and tragic day when a government official uses migrants as a pawn for political purposes.
On Monday, Abbott, expecting a migrant surge in Texas, warned that his state will send many thousands more to so-called sanctuary cities. He says the federal government is not doing enough to stem the flow of migrants into his state, while the White House blames Congress for decades of inaction over the border issue. Reuters reporting Thursday that U.S. Customs and Border Protection has in recent days been holding up to 28,000 migrants at its facilities, far beyond its stated capacity and in what appears to be a record. Melissa Duggan, City News.